Lately, the most unsettling thing in the Chinese entertainment industry isn't about who got caught in a scandal or who's dating who. It's actually three separate events that, when you piece them together, tell a whole different story. Mang Long falling from a building, Zhu Yilong vanishing, and Zhang Linghe suddenly going dead silent. On their own, these look like typical news headlines. But once you connect the dots, it plays out exactly like a mystery thriller. By the way, for those of you wanting to grab some official Tracers merch, everything is live right now. We've got hoodies, tank tops, mugs, tumblers, phone cases, and a whole lot more. You can check it out by clicking the link below. It's fully integrated right here into the video. Hi Tracers, Sean here. Three major names, three different fates, yet all driven by the exact same invisible pattern. In an industry where fame can be bought, it turns out there's one thing that costs far more, and that's freedom. When the curtains are pulled shut by force and the public is forced into silence, you just know something is being buried deep in the dark, because you never know how deep this hole goes. First off, let's talk about Mang Long. Back in September 2025 in Chaoyang, Beijing, he fell from a building. The police ruled it an accident, but to this day, people online are still refusing to buy it. And honestly, why would they? Too many things just don't add up. A rising star at 2 in the morning in a quiet residential area, completely alone without any signs of a fight or even a sound, and suddenly he just falls. Then, right on his heels, there's Zhu Yilong. In May of this year, he suddenly vanished from the public eye. His movie shoot was halted, his endorsement deals were dropped, his social media went completely dark, and his studio put out a single cryptic line, taking a break for personal matters. But just how deep do these personal matters go? Deep enough that even his most die-hard fans have absolutely no clue where he actually is. Next up is Zhang Linghe. Now, he didn't vanish, but he did something incredibly bizarre. Just recently, out of nowhere, he canceled all his public appearances. His studio locked down their direct messages, journalists couldn't get a hold of anyone, and his manager simply stated, he's just not in a good place right now. Not in a good place. Those 5 words sound painfully familiar, don't they? Right before Zu Yilong vanished, his studio used the exact same excuse. 3 different people, 2 different timelines, but they all share one chilling, common denominator. Right before everything went down, every single one of them went through an abnormal silent phase. Mang Long went silent for 3 days before his fall. Zhu Yilong went off the grid for 2 weeks before he vanished. And Zhang Linghe, he's sitting right in the middle of that silent phase as we speak. So, care to guess what happens next? People online are already starting to tie these 3 threads together. And the reason is simple. These 3 actually know each other in real life. We're not talking about just formal nods or playing nice for the cameras. Their actual real-world circles heavily overlap. They all belong to that specific group of talent who started out in idol survival shows before transitioning into acting, and they even share the exact same network of industry connections. This hidden web between them is exactly what makes the story so compelling, and it explains why the pattern is repeating so perfectly. In fact, 2 of them were even caught on camera sharing the same frame backstage at the Chunwan Gala in the exact same year. But what really got netizens feeling like something was deeply off wasn't the fact that they stood in the same room. It was this eerie, unsettling gap in their timelines. Right after Mang Long's incident, Zu Yilong's condition started spiraling. The moment Zu Yilong vanished, Zhang Linghe suddenly went silent. It's like a domino effect, one falling right after the other. Some say it's pure coincidence, others aren't so sure. But today, we're not here to make up stories, we're not digging into leaked DMs, and we're definitely not talking about psychics or dreams. We are strictly looking at the concrete public details that most of you completely missed. I'll let you judge for yourselves. Let's take a step back and look at how Mang Long was doing right before everything went wrong. Back in September 2025, during his last few public appearances, his condition actually already seemed a bit off. In those candid photos taken by fans on the street, he looked incredibly thin and his eyes just seemed completely blank. Whenever he was interviewed, his speech was about half a tempo slower than usual. At the time, everyone just assumed he was exhausted from work. But looking back now, that kind of exhaustion wasn't physical. It felt more like his mind was being heavily weighed down by something. In the early hours of September 11th, he fell from the 15th floor. The official police report ruled it an accidental fall after consuming alcohol, stating there was no foul play. Yet, netizens to this day are still left with massive question marks. How does someone who is completely drunk walk alone to that exact spot? What did the residential security cameras actually catch? The authorities didn't explain, the family didn't push for answers, and the case was just quietly closed. And then came Zhu Yilong. About a month after Mang Long's incident, Zhu Yilong's behavior began to shift as well. A few crew members from his movie set started sharing small stories online. They mentioned that on set, Zhu Yilong would frequently zone out and completely lose focus. You can really feel the mystery thickening here as the pattern starts repeating with a second actor. His eyes were blank, and sometimes he'd randomly repeat these strange catchphrases or specific words. Interestingly, those phrases weren't his. They were the exact lines Mang Long used to say all the time. At the time, nobody thought much of it. People just figured he was grieving and missing his friend, so it made sense that his emotions were low. But by the time March rolled around this year, everything changed. Out of nowhere, Zhu Yilong canceled several high-end business events in a row. His studio put out a unified statement, under the weather. However, an industry insider leaked that he wasn't actually sick, he was shutting himself out and refusing to see anyone. He turned down work, his weight plummeted in a very short period, and his cheeks even looked completely hollowed out. By May, he went totally off the grid. The studio's response changed too, shifting from under the weather to taking a break for personal matters. Pay close attention to that shift in wording. Under the weather implies an illness, while taking a break sounds like a personal choice to step away. But where did he actually go? Who is with him, and when is he coming back? There hasn't been a single word of explanation. Now, let's talk about Zhang Linghe after Zhu Yilong went off the grid. Zhang Linghe actually managed to work normally for quite a while, until recently when, completely out of the blue, he canceled all his public schedules. His studio also locked down their direct messages. When journalists called to get some clarity, his manager simply said, "He's just not in a good place right now." Again, those exact words. Before Mang Long's incident, some said he wasn't in a good place. Before Zhu Yilong vanished, they also said he wasn't in a good place. And now, it's Zhang Linghe's turn. Online, people are starting to compare the timelines of these three actors side by side, and they've uncovered an incredibly eerie coincidence. Right before the conditions of all three men began to deteriorate, as it turns out, they had all been interacting with the exact same circle of people. Or, to be more precise, they were all involved in the very same project. We're not talking about a movie, a drama, or a variety show here, but rather a series of closed-door activities hosted by major industry insiders. As for what those activities actually were, nobody can say for sure, but there was once someone who tried to blow the whistle on it, and today, that person is no longer around. It leaves a lot of people wondering, what exactly happened to these three? If it's just one person facing issues, you could call it bad luck. If it's two, maybe it's a coincidence. But when it's three people, especially with timelines running so close together, you can't help but look deeper. Within the entertainment industry itself, there's a rumor about a highly secretive inner circle. This isn't your typical talent management group, nor is it just some casual dinner to trade business connections. It's a group formed by a handful of powerful investors and behind-the-scenes puppet masters, often referred to as the decision-making castle. This elite circle holds the actual master contracts of countless celebrities. And these contracts aren't just about standard entertainment work or acting gigs, they are packed with heavy, restrictive clauses. We're talking strict bans on terminating the contract unilaterally, non-disclosure agreements on internal operations, and even forced periods of total isolation from the outside world. Could what happened to Mang Long be tied to this? No one dares to say for certain, but before his tragic fall, he was actually caught trying to break his contract. And this wasn't just any standard buyout. It was the kind of termination where he was willing to walk away completely empty-handed, losing a massive amount of money just to break free. In the final months leading up to his death, he turned down countless commercial gigs and drastically cut back on public appearances. Some say he was trying to run away, while others believe he was quietly gathering evidence. After he fell from the building, all of his personal belongings, his phone, his computer, and the files inside his studio were immediately confiscated and taken away. Since that day, none of those items have ever been seen again. So, what about Zhu Yilong? Compared to Mang Long, he was actually far more cautious and private. Before he vanished, he never once aired any grievances or complaints to the public. However, in his final days before dropping off the radar, he was constantly meeting with lawyers. And we're not talking about just one person, but several different legal teams back to back. According to insider leaks, he was consulting them regarding a severe contract dispute. The moment those consultations wrapped up, he began shutting himself away, refusing to meet anyone until he finally vanished into thin air. Right now, what Zhang Linghe is doing mirrors Zhu Yilong's final steps almost perfectly. From canceling all commitments and locking down his DMs, to completely freezing out the media. He isn't just resting right now, he's assessing the situation. He's calculating whether his current position is still safe. You might think this sounds like something straight out of a movie plot, but you need to know something. Over the last 10 years in the Chinese entertainment industry, at least 7 or 8 top-tier celebrities have suddenly been reported as not in a good place, right at the peak of their careers. Right after that, they just completely drop off the face of the earth. A few eventually made a comeback, but when they did, they seemed like entirely different people. Others never returned at all. Not every disappearance can be labeled as a quiet retirement. Some disappearances mean they're simply never allowed to show their faces again. Now, let's tie these 3 threads together. Mang Long suffered a highly suspicious fall. Right after failing to break away from a rigid system, Zu Yilong vanished without a trace after frantically meeting with multiple lawyers, a move that ultimately failed, or at best, only got him halfway out. Meanwhile, Zhang Linghe is currently choosing to stay completely silent under uncertain conditions, executing the exact same playbook Zhu Yilong used right before he vanished. Do these 3 men share a common denominator? The answer is yes. Over the past 2 years, all 3 of them established deeply intertwined partnerships with the exact same group of investors. And we are not talking about your usual contract to shoot a single movie. This was cooperation at a corporate shareholding level. The registered addresses of their personal studios were quietly moved to the exact same industrial park, their commercial management teams heavily overlapped, and they even shared the exact same legal counsel. None of this information is classified. Anyone can easily look it up on the Tianyancha platform. But why has almost no one connected these dots until now? Simply because the data is too scattered. If you look at each piece individually, it all looks like standard corporate activity. But when you piece them together, it forms a terrifying puzzle. And there's one more detail. Right before things went downhill for all 3 of them, they did the exact same thing. They all turned down a specific new project. What kind of project was it? No one knows for sure. But according to industry insiders, the investment behind it was astronomical. Interestingly, the party backing the project wasn't a film studio or an entertainment agency, but an institution with a heavy financial background. While the reasons given by the 3 actors for turning it down varied, the outcome was identical. The project fell through, and right after that, one by one, they all started running into trouble. At this point, you might think I'm just making up stories or spinning fairy tales. But let me ask you one thing. Do you remember Right after Mang Long's incident, how many people flooded social media posting, "I hope there is no capitalism in heaven"? And do you remember? Right after Zhu Yilong vanished, how many desperate fans begged on community forums, writing, "Please just show up for a second and let us know you're okay"? And think about it, every single time a celebrity is suddenly reported to be not in a good place, how do we usually react? We light a digital candle, leave a comment of condolences, and immediately scroll past to the next trending topic, and then we completely forget. But in Zhang Linghe's case, he is still stuck in that silence right now. On his fan forums, people are asking every single day, did he show up today? Has the studio updated anything? Did any insider leak some news? The answer? Absolute silence. This radio silence is the loudest warning sign. Now, I won't sit here and claim that there is a massive, definitive conspiracy theory linking these three. I can't prove for certain that investors are pulling all the strings from the shadows. I don't have leaked chat logs, security footage, or secret voice recordings. Just like you, I am only reading and analyzing the data that is already out there in the public domain. But honestly, the public data alone is more than enough to send chills down your spine when something looks suspicious, sounds unsettling, fits the timeline perfectly, and makes total logical sense. The very least we can do is ask the question, what is actually going on here? So, my main goal with today's video isn't to hand you a definitive conclusion, but to ask the questions. The questions that, until now, absolutely no one has had the guts to say out loud. If you also feel like the cases of these three actors shouldn't just be swept under the rug, please hit the like button so this video can reach more people, and don't forget to follow the channel. I'll be keeping a close eye on any updates regarding Mang Long's fall, whether Zhu Yilong will ever return, and when Zhang Linghe will finally break his silence. The moment any public info drops, I'll connect the dots right here for you. They have every right to retire, and they have every right to rest. But they should never have to just vanish without a trace. A vague phrase like, "not in a good place," should never be used to bury the actual truth. I'm Sean Varel. I'll see you in the next episode. If you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.